So, what I have done is, okay, from a Lie group G0, we got a Lie algebra L, but normally it is written as G0 with a underneath thing. Okay. And to compute this, okay, for matrix groups, it is very easy. I mean, you don't have to compute the structure constants and so on. Okay. So, for matrix groups, what we did was, okay, write G in G, G of one parameter group, okay, equal to some exponential T times some matrix M, some L. Okay. L is a matrix, T is a one parameter subgroup. Find conditions on L, okay, on this L, okay, from this G0, from those on G0. We saw it, there will be reality conditions and there will be some algebraic conditions. Okay. SO3, there is some algebraic condition, it is real symmetric, it is real orthogonal. So, orthogonality is some equation, some polynomial equation. If you do SUN and so on, there are unitarity condition. You write them down. I will work out some cases as we go, keep going. Okay. Then, okay, L1, L2, so Li, Lj, we find this set of L's. Okay. L's span a vector space with basis Li, okay, and the bracket Li Lj is Ck Ij Lk. Okay. Yes, and C's are the structure constants. The structure constants depend on the basis, or the, if you write coordinates, local coordinates, if you change local coordinates, they will change in a controlled fashion. You can see why. It will transform like a tensor with two lower indices, anticipated tensor, and one upper index. Okay. So, you can write down, suppose you replace L by some matrix times L. Okay. You can see how this transforms. Okay. So, that is because we are using basis. Okay. But this is a Lie algebra. Then we found also different groups can have same Lie algebra. Such as example was SO3 and SU2. Okay. The Lie algebra SO3 is Lie algebra SU2, but as groups they are not the same. Okay. As their Lie algebras are the same. So, we may ask, we have to ask, what is the connection between the Lie groups for which you have the same Lie algebra? This is the question. That is what I want to. So, the connection between Lie groups with same Lie algebra. Now, it is to discuss it in a proper way, I have to discuss what is called connectivity of a manifold let us say call it M and is fundamental or first homotopy group pi 1 of M. We are now entering a very beautiful subject. Okay. This has, despite this math sounding thing, it has very wide applications, including molecular physics, QCD, all kinds of things. Okay. And it is very beautiful. Many things start happening because of when you have multiply connected spaces. Okay. So what is it? What you do is the following. Consider pick a point, pick it Q0 in M and fix it. Once and for all. You should not change it. Okay. If you change it, then you will get something else. Okay. You will find something called the first homology group, which is different, okay, which is simpler than pi 1 of M. Okay. So what do you do? Then consider a loop, okay, starting and ending at Q0. So you have a loop here, okay, I should say an oriented loop, so the loop is oriented. The reverse orientation will be a different loop, but not coordinated. There is no parameter running along the loop. Okay. Then, so this is my Q0. Okay. You can think of this as image. Okay. This can be thought of so it is better to think like that as image of an oriented circle S1, okay, to M under a smooth map call it phi. You understand what I am saying? So you take a circle, okay, okay. It can have an arrow or no arrow. That is, I can say that this circle is going this way or that way. So it is going this way. Okay. Okay. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I should also say P. Under phi, a fixed point P of S1 goes to Q. So you map it, this circle here, this point here goes here. So under this mapping, yeah, you don't need to talk about S1, but you can now sort of quickly see that you can generalize these ideas to any 2 sphere, 3 sphere, 4 sphere. Then you will start getting higher homotopy groups, okay, which are again of relevance in quantum field theory or condensed matter. Okay. Now what do you do? So you can think of it, but you can even deal directly here. Okay. Now the statement is identify 2 loops if one can be deformed smoothly to the other. Okay. That means, for example, if I have a loop here, okay, there is no hole, I have say one loop here C1, then another loop C2, then we say C1 is equivalent to C2. Okay. If you can deform it without, in the deformation you don't leave, okay, without leaving base point, without moving Q. The deformation you should not move Q. Okay. If you move Q, then you will get different answers. In general, you will get different answers, even in very simple cases. So Q is fixed. So these are called pointed spaces. You have preferred point. Okay. So the map is from S1 star to M star. Okay. So these are what they call pointed spaces.
So I read that the loop is not the image of the map itself, but the map.
Huh?
A loop you
Huh.
find on the pointed space is not the image of the map, but the map itself. Does that distinction make a difference?
It is a map,
Yeah, it is a map. So
the image of a map. This loop here
yeah,
is the image of this loop
yes.
under the map phi.
So do I call the loop the image of the map or phi itself?
No, you call the image is called the loop. I mean phi is mapping pointwise here. This is something, no? This is a loop encircled. So there is some exponential I theta going like this. Then under phi of exponential I theta, you get this loop which is parameterized by this exponential I theta. And the orientation says that theta is increasing this way. Right? Okay. So that loop, the focus is on the loop. Okay. It is coming from this mapping. The reason for talking about mapping is sometimes it is very convenient for higher homotopy groups, but this is not a problem. Okay. Now the point is, so with this identification, so this gives, I'll give you examples, equivalence classes C of base loops. In M, base at Q0. Okay. Every one of the every loop in this equivalence class. So this is a class, equivalence class. There are a lot of loops there. Okay, but two of them, any two of them, can be deformed to the other without moving the base point, which is called Q. Okay. Main point is the following. They form a group. This equivalence class under, this is a phrase they use, concatenation. Catena is a chain. Catena, you may know the word. Okay, catena is a chain. So you are making chains. Okay, so what do? If, say, C1 is any member of C1, say Ci is any member of Ci of this equivalence class, then we say C1 times C2 is a product. The definition is concatenation. The word gives it away. You take any member Ci from here. It is equivalence class containing C1 union C2. Okay. Where, okay, the way I am writing C1, where we first traverse C1 and then C2. Okay. So this thing, okay, C1 C2 is equivalence class of C1, this is C1, any member, then C2. Okay. And since they are both ending, beginning and ending at the same point, I can concatenate, I can put them together. Okay. First apply C1, go through C1, then apply C2. Okay. So this forms a group. The identity is the loop which can be deformed to point. Okay. The deformation is not one-to-one or anything like that, but it must be smooth. Okay. So you can squash up a curve to a point. There is no problem. Okay. And if you see, this is like this. First I go through C1, then I go through C2. So I got, but end point is C1. Once I have put them together, I can move, because the combined loop, the base point is Q, but C1 is some intermediate loop. You know? So the end point is C1, you can move in deformation. In fact, you will have to prove equivalences. Okay? And the inverse loop is the one with opposite orientation. Okay. So this is what on Monday, today is, we talked about path space. I had to explain this to make sense of the so-called path space, which was a bundle space over the configuration space Q. You remember? Okay. But it's so huge, and you issue errors. What is a group acting on this? It is this loop group. Okay. But the loop group, I have to make identifications to make it into a group. Okay. Otherwise, it doesn't act like a group. Okay. So that is where I got stuck in explaining. But now let me look at examples. No. Okay. If you like the theorem, I should look at examples. Every m there is a okay இது க்ளீன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு சரியாக க்ளீன் பண்ணுறதில்ல. Okay, I should say here this group is pi 1m. Okay. Now, for every m, there exists a universal. I won't try to tell you how to construct this covering space. M bar. Okay. Okay. And a map M bar to M. Okay. Which covers with kernel, that is where this many points of M bar go to M. That is, this one is pi 1 of M is just dimension of M. Pi 1m. Okay. It is always discrete. Okay. If this is the most important thing, if G0 is a group, okay, this G0 bar, this is quite remarkable, is also a group. Okay. With pi 1 of G0 as a normal subgroup, and G0 is G0 bar over pi 1m, pi 1 of G0.
When you say pi bar of m points of m bar go to m, you mean pi bar of m points go to 1 point m?
Say again, m bar, some fixed point of m bar will go to the same, this point P of m.
Some point
P of m.
So the number of points which go to a point P of m is.
So there will be, yeah, you have m bar, so m here, you have this point P, you look at m bar, you find so many points going to P, m bar to m. Okay.
This number is the dimension of the.
There is a dimension of the fundamental group here. Okay.
The fact that the fundamental group is always finite.
Fundamental group is not always finite, but it is always discrete.
Discrete. Okay, discrete.
Huh.
Is that why does that have to be true?
Ah.
I can like take a plane and then punch out. Like
But you will never get non-countable things. I don't.
or like if I take out finitely many holes, then I get a finitely.
But they are countable. If you take infinitely many holes, it's still countable, right? So I am only saying discrete, countable. Okay. I don't know of any example where fundamental group has elements which are not countable. I don't know of any example. Okay. You see immediately from this picture that m bar is a principal fiber bundle on M, if you had come to that course, okay, where the pi 1 M is a structure group, is a group, okay, and M is a base.
This is the projection.
This is a projection map. Okay. So over a point of M, you have so many points of M bar sitting. Okay.
So those points are in the fiber.
In the fiber. So it's exactly that relationship. Exactly, but except that in the case of groups, you can say more. Both are groups. I mean, the universal covering space is also a group, which is not so clear. Okay. Why it is so? So I can describe it, but depends on what if you want to hear that, or I keep going. Okay. Why? What is the consensus? You want to see why G0 bar is a group, or shall I keep going and give you examples and show the relationship between Lie groups and Lie algebra, Lie algebras and Lie groups? What do you want? Huh?
Either way is fine.
Okay.
Maybe if you give us like an example and then talk about it.
Yeah. So let me look at examples. Okay.
So here you started with defining the loop on a point.
Oh, you are a loop quantum gravity person. Naturally. Okay. Okay.
You started with defining a loop on a point, but
Ah.
then you defined the group for the whole space. So
If you shift the point, no.
isn't there an assumption of path connectivity of
connected,
the space?
But manifolds are path connected.
Ah,
Okay.
That is.
If you are discrete, if the manifold is a union of different manifolds with completely different properties, then of course only each component will have the same fundamental group. For Lie group G with many components, one can show that pi 1 is the same for each component quite easily. Okay. You can.
We're talking about the connected component of a Lie group, right? So that's always path connected.
Yes, yes. Each component of a Lie group is path connected.
Okay.
Because Lie group, if you have a, say SO3, O3, you have two pieces, take any element in the second piece and multiply this first one, you will get the second one. It will map the whole lot there. Okay. So for Lie group, it's no, but for manifolds you can simply take unions of different manifolds. Then I cannot say.
No, then they're not even connected, right? Let alone path connected.
It will not be connected, but each component may be connected. Okay. In the Lie group case, each component, in the Lie group case, you can write G for Lie groups. You know, G is a union of Gi. Okay. G0 is the connected component. Okay. Okay. But then one can easily show that pi 1 of Gi is independent of I. That's because take G0, G1 for example. Suppose there is an element G1 here. This is the connected component. You multiply this with G1, okay? Then this will be G1 G0. Always.
So the connected components of the Lie group are homeomorphic. So
As manifold, they are the same.
yeah.
But this is not a group. If you multiply two of them, you get back somewhere. Okay? Depends upon how these things multiply. Okay? It's not a group, but as a manifold, because this is connected, so this is also connected. Okay? So I picked a G1 is a connected component, connected piece. So I should recover, otherwise I will go backwards. Okay? Then I will get a contradiction. No? So each piece as manifolds are the same. Okay? Okay. It is important that you don't move the base point. If you start moving the base point, you cannot compose the loops. Okay?
Within a path connected region, I can move the base point, right? Because then the fundamental groups
But
are less
you can choose, that is true, but you have to fix a point. Okay? If you fix a point, suppose you take 2 points and compute pi 1m, then the groups are isomorphic, but there is no canonical isomorphism. There is
Because you can choose in one of many paths that.
and the path you choose to connect the two itself is not contractible, the going in backwards, okay. It's not contractible to identity, and the group is non-abelian. Pi 1m can be non-abelian, then no, they won't be, there is no canonical isomorphism, okay. That causes some physics problems, okay. Physics problems means physics, interesting physics situations. Huh? For example, we already in the old book on classical topology, we found, that is Raphael Sorkin, actually is Raphael who told me some funny thing happening with non-abelian fundamental groups, and it was not very clear what was happening. Then we found a similar situation coming for non-abelian monopoles. There is something called non-abelian monopoles, okay, which come in grand unified theories. So at that time we were investigating this. Again, the personalities involved were Mukunda, I, George Sudarshan, some others. We found that when you have a non-abelian monopole, the color group SU3 of color, you cannot implement them. That is, you have, if you try implementing it, you break apart the bundle structure. You cannot do it. Okay. So we did not understand. Okay. But recently we have been looking at it again using this GNS. Some very beautiful results come, that it turns out that when you have a situation like this, the states of the molecule, for example, there are molecule ethylene, I told you, the states of this molecule are necessarily impure, that is, they have an entropy. Okay. There is no, because of this non-abelian thing. Okay. And just now, yesterday, I sent out notes that same thing happens in QCD, that the QCD states, QCD, colored QCD states are necessarily impure, that is, they have an entropy. Okay. Necessarily, I think the proof is correct. So we are checking. All this is coming because of some masala with this, not this kind of thing you are saying. Okay. To change, shift the base point, how does the group change? Okay. What is isomorphism? And you have to implement this isomorphism for as you keep moving the second point. At each point you need this isomorphism, but then you go and come back to the original point. It should persist. Suppose it changes to some other isomorphism. Okay, you have many ways of conjugating a group, no, and they don't match. That is a basic reason. So there is a lot of physics which is unexplored here, which are of relevance. I mean, experimentally you can check them, in my opinion. Okay. So I want to check now. Let us consider the group example, the group U1, which is topologically a circle, right? So I take a circle and I choose my base point to be Q. By the way, if you go to S2, so for S1, one way to think is you take an interval and you map both the endpoints to the same point. S2, you will take a square and all the endpoints go to the same point. It is a balloon. Then you compose the balloons. Okay. S3, you have a cube. Okay. Then all the boundary points go to the same point, and so on. Okay. So the fundamental groups can be generalized. Okay. Pi n. Then there are very deep results which come in topological insulators of all things. There is something called Bott periodicity theorem and all. This stuff is very rich and beautiful. Okay.
So when you defined them first, you said it's a map from S1 to
Yes.
the loop. Now S1 is not topologically the same as the unit interval.
No, the image S1 is not the same as
The unit interval. Because
no, but because the endpoints are going to the same point. Okay, then it's not a problem. So I choose this. Then you can see that a closed curve. Okay, let me consider the class C1. Okay. this will, I'll write it as a, some closed curve. This, let's say, is exponential I theta. This is exponential I phi of theta. Okay, where the change of phi of theta, see phi of theta is defined only mod 2 pi, right? So phi at 2 pi minus phi of 0 is 0. So this will be a curve like, I start here. So this is class C1. I go like this and come back. So the net change in the phase here, or you can write it in terms of logarithms, okay, is 0. Okay. So let me call this class 0, C0. Now I can write class Cn. And here the net change phi of 2 pi minus phi of 0 will be 2 pi times an integer. Okay. So this will be curves where I start here, go around, then I do whatever I like. But the net change in the angle is some 2 pi times an integer. Okay. Continuous deformations cannot change an integer. Okay. Since continuous deformations cannot change an integer, okay, it's clear that this class Cn is not equal to Cm, n not equal to m. Okay. So in fact the fundamental group of the circle is Z or U1. Okay. I have not shown you that there is no more. There is, can I divide this into smaller pieces? I have not shown it to you. Okay. I don't know, I mean I am happy with this proof. Okay. There must be some way of regress precisely showing that there is nothing more you can do. Okay. In books on homotopy theory there will be proofs, but I don't know it. Okay. But yeah. So okay, that's another way. Now let me ask, what is universal covering group? This space here is a real line. This is your fibrous space. Okay. Then the projection map R to U1 is, okay, some point here x goes to exponential Ix. Okay. So that shows actually clearly pi 1 of R is trivial. It's simply connected, right? Because it's a line, I cannot do anything. And the kernel of this map, okay, kernel of map is a group. R to U1 is clearly from here 2 pi n, which is your Z in R. So I have unfolded this circle into a line. So this is the simplest example of a universal covering space, which is also a group. Okay. But more interesting example is, more non-trivial example is SO3. We saw that SO3, if R is in SO3, is a real orthogonal matrix, the R is a rotation by some angle around some axis in dot J. Okay. So rotation around this axis n hat by angle theta. Okay. But exponential I 2 pi n hat dot j is 1. 2 pi rotation is nothing. Right? So this is exponential I pi n hat dot j is exponential minus I pi n hat dot j. Okay. So the picture is SO3 is a ball. I think we discussed this earlier. Our radius pi, right? Radius pi. But the two opposite points, this point here, P, and this point here, exactly opposite, P prime. So P equal to P prime in SO3. Okay. So if you take any point here, it gives you an axis of rotation and it gives an angular rotation given by the length. But there is an identification of the two surface points. Okay. So this is the space of SO3. And I also told you that this manifold is the real projective 3 plane. Okay. SO3 is RP3. It's 3-dimensional. RP3 because this is 3-dimensional. So this is a real dimension 3, this space. It's not C, it's a real 3-dimensional space. So this is, you take 1-dimensional subspaces in 4 dimensions, 4 real dimensions. Okay. So you take 1-dimensional subspaces, so through the origin, okay. Whole subspace is a line, then you want to get representatives, so you cut it by a sphere, okay. But the same line cuts it twice, so you identify that, you get this. Okay. So RP3 is the same as SO3. Okay. Now same. Let me look at closed curves, zero jump curves. So I look at this, start here, okay. A zero jump curve may be like this, okay. Or it may go touch the boundary and come back. They are all zero jump curves. They are all homotopic to a point. homotopy curve identity, where the full circle goes to a single point. Now, if I want to look at one jump curves, suddenly I go to boundary 1, I jump, this is same as this point 1 prime. When I go along to some point 2 here, it is same as 2 here, 2 prime, and I come back. Have I jumped twice? Wait a minute, I have jumped here twice. Wait. Let me see. Yeah, here I jumped twice. Okay. So, this is a 2 jump curve. Because I jumped twice. I'll come back to the 1 jump curve that you cannot do very much. But the 2 jump curve is the following. Okay. I will I can do it this way. This is homotopic to I move 1 prime to 2. If I move 1 prime to 2, this is the same point, this will move to 2 prime, right? So I move this 1 prime towards 2. Okay. So now at 2 and 1 prime are sitting together, and that will also at the same time move here 2 prime and 1. Okay. So this curve is going to look like, come here, I jump, I am getting confused. No, I should be able to deform it to nothing. How? I come to jump, but 2 prime comes later in the picture, right? 2, 1, 2, wait. I go to from here to 1, go to 1 prime, 2, 2 prime. I'm not sure. Let me see it. One, oh, 2 to 1 prime, that's the point. I know, but this is a point. I know, you're right, but this is simply that's the point. This is a point, right? When I move that, there is nothing happening here. So that is the same as this point. So that's so this is the same as this one. I come from here to here and go back. Right? Which is the same as identity. Okay. So for one jump, 2 jumps like this, you can always deform to 0 jump. Okay. So all even jumps curves are homotopic to identity. All odd ones are mutually homotopic. Okay. So pi 1 of SO3, this I have to check. SO3 is actually Z2, because if you compose two odd ones, you get an even one. Okay. But any even one is acting like the identity, so the group is just Z2, it's twofold connected. Okay. Now, its universal cover is SU2. Okay. Which as a manifold is the same as a 3-sphere. So you can see what has happened. When I RP3 picture, I was identifying these 2 points, you remove that identification, okay? You get S3, the whole sphere, that's what that is. Okay? Then okay, we also know that SU2 modded by Z2 is SO3. We saw this many times. Okay. And I have not really, SU2 is simply connected. I can ask how will I prove it? Visualizing, S3 is simply connected, I have to prove it, right? 3, how will I, somebody comes with some funny, seems very reasonable, so I accept it. But if you ask me to prove S2, you see, many of these things are done by visual. The 2 sphere is simply connected. How? Well, okay, proof is by challenging. Okay, show me a curve, which is not simply, the surface of an orange is simply connected. Okay. That's the kind of thing we are saying. Okay. So, so this is a generic situation. Okay. Now, I'll state the theorem. Okay. All theorem all connected Lie groups with the same universal covering group have isomorphic Lie algebras. This is a theorem. So you got a bunch of G1, G2. You see bunch there can be many say Gn, but they may all contain some particular universal covering group, same, because it depends upon how you factor. So there is this is phi 1 of Gn, okay. Then all of them, let me put like this, have the same Lie algebra. At the Lie algebra level, I put a wriggle here, show that this is the Lie algebra of the Lie group. Okay. So all these things have the same Lie algebra, but these groups here, in this case there are arrows between them, but there are cases where they are not even isomorphic, because if the factoring phi 1s must be positioned properly to be able to do that. For example, okay, so let me finish with that. So, example, but GIs, okay, may not be homomorphic. Let me consider, let's say, this example, G bar. Then I stop. I take SU2 cross SU2. Okay. Here, the center of this group, okay, center is 1 1 minus 1 1, right? 1 minus 1, then you get minus 1 minus 1. Now consider the following. So I take this G bar and a quotient by these two, this group, 1 1 minus 1 1. It's a group, right? What happens? There's an identification going on here, so you get SO3 cross SU2. But if I quotient G bar by 1 1, but I take something strange, I take minus 1 minus 1, what do you get? Here I am quotienting in a coherent way between these two. What happens? You can show by change of basis that this is a 4-dimensional rotation group. This thing is a 4-dimensional rotation group. This group here and this group here, there is no mapping, no homomorphism from here to here, because the way I have factored the centers are different. No home, so, but they have the same Lie algebras. So, no homomorphism connecting 1 and 2. They are simply different, okay? But at the Lie algebra level they are the same. If you want to make a homomorphism from here to here, whatever you do, okay, it has to preserve this relationship, because it is in the center, you are factoring it out. But there is no way to do it. If you do some mapping here, it will become some mapping on the top, and that has to take this to this, but that you cannot do. Okay? So one can easily see by just thinking that there is nothing connecting these two. There are many ways. There is another way to say it. If you do 2 pi rotation here and 2 pi rotation here, could be. Okay? It is -1 because it is +1 here, -1 here. Right? So you take a 2 pi rotation here and a 2 pi rotation here. In this group it is -1. In this group it is +1. Right? 2 pi rotation is -1, so it becomes 1 plus 1. So clearly I have shown you an element, namely correlated 2 pi rotations in the two SU2s, which have different values in the two groups. So any homomorphism must preserve this, any isomorphism must preserve this fact, but it cannot because they are different eigenvalues. So there is no way to connect these two. So this is an example of two Lie groups with the same Lie algebras which are not connected by an isomorphism of any kind. Okay? So there is this complication, and next time we will formalize how G's do make a difference, because it says that physically only certain classes of representations will occur. Okay? So it will tell you the particle spectrum which are allowed. Okay? So it is non-trivial. In QCD it says that only fractionally charged particles can be colored, for example. You can prove that by just this kind of group theoretical arguments. So it is not trivial.